In case you missed it, the news reported, prosecutors may have just ruined any chance Melly had of beating this case. They're now pressuring Bortlen to testify against him. Pray for Melly. This comes after prosecutors submitted paperwork to have Melly and Bortlen tried together in the upcoming trial with one clear goal: to turn Bortlen into a witness against Melly.
Here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once. And also, you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other. But that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found.
It's just common sense. If Bortlen knows he didn't commit this serious crime, there's no way he'll be able to sit back and take a life sentence on the chin. That makes it highly likely he'll end up pointing the finger at Melly. Prosecutors are expected to use the interrogation footage between Bortlen and the police as part of their strategy.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music. Getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home. You know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car.
Hey, Ashley,
and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Yeah.
Then you took 75.
It's clear to the officers that Bortlen's story isn't adding up. He's doing his best to stay confident and make his version of events sound believable, but in the end, he got caught in his lie.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's like...
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my... Like,
these your two, I'm assuming, close friends.
Yeah, we got...
And you're doing them an in-service by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't, like, how... What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell?
However, the interrogation quickly takes a turn for the worse. Bortlen starts getting frustrated as the officers clearly aren't buying his story about the crime, and the tension in the room begins.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even talk about it anymore. Like, because I told y'all. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay. Just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
At this stage in an interrogation, when a suspect shuts down and refuses to talk, it's standard procedure for officers to reset the playing field. Their goal is to keep the conversation going in hopes the suspect will slip up, either by changing key details or revealing more than intended. In Bortlen's case, the officer shifts the focus and starts asking fresh questions about the drive-by. How was Bortlen driving? Did he hit anything? And more. It's all part of a strategy to catch inconsistencies and crack the story open.
Let's talk about why. Are you having issues with anyone?
I mean, we are upcoming artists and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so people like, when you like start doing better than people, they start hating and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So you had some jealousy issues.
Yeah, it's like jealousy issues. But I haven't really been on there. But like my friend that's When I got this, he was telling me like, right, he always telling me about how people, just like today, he was telling me some folks from up our way.
What's up your way?
Like Vero
Beach?
Beach, like that's where I used to stay. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up there. So that's our hometown. You know.
So what did your friend say about from Vero Beach? What was he saying to you?
He was saying basically just like they were on like Instagram, Facebook.
With their interrogation time running out, the officer gets straight to the point and asks, "If you knew who did this, would you tell me?" It's a last-ditch effort to break through Bortlen's silence and see if he'll finally crack under pressure.
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS, okay? And it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay, you may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of it.
Instead of giving a clear yes or no, Bortlen simply shakes his head. He avoids speaking, likely because if Melly was the one who did it, saying no out loud could have caused his voice to crack or change pitch, exposing his lie. This subtle response was a clear red flag to the officers, signaling that Bortlen knows far more than he's letting on. Because of this, Melly was denied bond. But things only got worse. On May 12th, it was officially announced that a judge ruled Melly must remain behind bars until his retrial in September. The Florida rapper has already spent 6 years incarcerated while fighting charges for the murders of his former friends, Juvie and Sack Chaser. Melly and his family had high hopes for his release, especially after one of the 6 charges was granted bond. His mother even shared her emotions publicly, believing her son was finally coming home.
Just still praying. I know I said I would I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically the judge is going to do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it can come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, stop. I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming, you know.
After over 200 days behind bars without bond, even following a previous mistrial, it finally seemed like things were turning around for Melly when he was granted bond on 1 out of 6 charges. All signs pointed toward a possible release. But just as hope was building, prosecutors made a disturbing move. They began cutting deals with Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, and his best friend, Bortlen, Mariah, who was supposed to testify against Melly during the original trial, had been hiding outside the United States and failed to appear in court, which led to her being listed as a wanted witness by authorities.
State filing 6 new charges against Demmons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
After spending some time in custody, Mariah Hamilton was released, but only after signing a deal agreeing to testify against Melly. This development was a major blow for Melly. Mariah even posted on Facebook, "And to my village, I love y'all so much. God's plan, not mine," hinting at the emotional weight of her decision. What made things worse was what investigators uncovered in her iCloud account. Disturbing evidence suggesting that Melly may have pressured her not to testify during the original trial. This falls under witness tampering, a serious offense that can carry a life sentence regardless of whether Melly is ultimately found guilty of the murders of Sack Chaser and Juvie.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail. They don't give it to him.
However, the witness tampering case is completely separate from the murder case involving the deaths of Juvie and Sack Chaser. Because of the alleged tampering, which involved recorded jail phone calls, Melly has been stripped of his phone privileges for several months. His mother even spoke out in an interview, revealing that he's not only banned from making phone calls, but also isn't allowed to see his mail.
Those were his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket. Not Cortland Henry.
If the witness tampering allegations are true, that explains why Melly's phone access has been restricted. Authorities wouldn't take such a step without solid proof, as doing so without evidence could open them up to a major lawsuit. What's even more troubling is that prosecutors plan to use Bortlen to snitch on Melly in the upcoming retrial. In fact, during the original trial, Melly's own lawyers already attempted to shift blame onto Bortlen for the crime.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of hot residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of hot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was hot residue present on the hands.
It's always been Bortlen who's lied to the feds. He was found with firearm powder on his hands, proving he was at the scene when the crime happened. Plus, Juvie and Sack Chaser were last seen with him. Prosecutors even called a forensic scientist to testify about the powder found on Bortlen's hands during the investigation.
You saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone.
Bortlen didn't take this lightly. When Melly's mistrial was announced, he tweeted, "Mind games don't work on people like me," along with a handshake emoji, almost as if he was signaling acceptance of a deal. Meanwhile, Melly's lawyers are appealing the judge's bond denial, reworking their case to present it again in court. You tell me, would you release Melly? His legal team proposed posting an unspecified bond through his record label, 300 Entertainment. If granted, they assured the judge Melly would be placed under house arrest, wear an ankle monitor, and have security watching over him. The news sparked hope. Even another rapper wrote, "That boy Melly coming home, I feel it." For Melly's mom, this is huge. She's been breaking down recently, opening up about how helpless she feels knowing her son is locked up and not being treated like a human inside jail.
I would be the part where he's saying that someone just shut the car up and was trying to shoot him. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, yeah. He's like, yeah, there's some. I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juvie? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're.
They also plan to present key evidence from the original trial that supports Melly's innocence. GPS data from the Jeep shows Melly was actually sprinting down a street and hiding in a bush at the exact time the crime took place, proving he couldn't have been involved.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
To support the drive-by theory, Melly's lawyers told the new judge that no firearm was ever recovered. They argue that the real culprit carried out the drive-by shooting and then fled the scene with the weapon.
PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHH.
However, prosecutors are determined to keep Melly behind bars and will use every piece of evidence they can, including the phone recordings that may contain Melly admitting to the crime.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey. No, still turned. Regardless of what happened, you already know.
Also discovered on Melly's phone was a Facebook Live video showing Bortlen and Melly dancing and celebrating just hours after the crime took place.